Oh, je vais parler de so more things to cut from your budget of any type, really. And since I already did one of these videos, hopefully I can come up with a few more items of practical advice that will, in fact, make a difference in minimizing one's expenses. This isn't particularly fire related either, by the way, because literally almost everyone on the planet can use some cuts to the expenditures. Okay, that's just reality. Hey, Zemfuck here. Okay, maybe it's because I'm an actual immigrant, but boy, it sure seems like there are tons of ways to save money, aka by spending less, okay? That just comes extremely natural to me, right? But apparently not so much to everybody else. I'm not saying that a stingy mentality is always a good thing or something, right? It definitely has its downsides, but considering that the majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck and have thousands of credit card debts and can't conceive of a real retirement, I'd say some realistic, good old fashioned advice on how to just spend less money is probably helpful for more people than not. Okay, so this is actually the second part of, I guess, a series now. I'm really trying to name items that people currently definitely spend a lot on, but I think can be cut relatively easily and make a big impact on your financial lives, right? So last time I think I named cutting clothing, eating out, and subscriptions, right? Any of you actually do that? Honestly, I'm curious, but no matter. This particular entry, it's another list. I don't think it's that hard to come up with a list of 3 other things. I mean, I just gotta look around my own house and see what it is that I don't have, right? Oh boy, that was definitely a humble brag of sorts. Apologies, but you know what I mean. I think I'm relatively frugal, and I'll tell you why I think these items are a bad idea as well, okay? And hopefully, reason will rule the day, okay? So, if you enjoy some random rants from a dude with clearly no production skills, like and subscribe, share and comment, or whatever, okay? I'll be great regardless, because I just do these for funsies. Hit that bell icon. I don't know where that is, okay? I'm just asking you guys to do that, because other YouTube videos that I saw said things like that, and I'm sure that's important, okay? Okay, item number 1, right? A house with more bathrooms than people living in it, that's what I would cut, okay? This one drives me bonkers crazy, okay? I think I'm biased because I am a first-generation immigrant who's only lived in very, very large cities, so space was always at a premium, right? For the longest time, I could not understand why anybody would need so much space as defined by needing more than one bathroom per person. I mean, seriously, a person cannot use more than one bathroom at a time, right? So if you have a household of 2, you probably don't need more than 2 bathrooms. Reality, of course, is that for most Americans, we just love getting as much house as the bank would allow. That's really what I'm saying to vote against, right? Now, having lived in studios and 1-bedroom apartments plenty of times as a single person, I do recognize the importance of having some bathroom redundancy, right? Just in case one toilet fails, right? It's nice to have a backup. But after that, I'd argue that even for households of 3 to 4, there's hardly a need for more than 2 or at most 3 bathrooms, right? Anymore, we are in McMansion territory. Do you really want to live in a McMansion? I mean, I get that some people do, but those are definitely not the same type of people who'd actually want to consider cutting costs, right? Second major item I would cut, that would be a new car of any price, unless, of course, the exceptions, if you have 3 times the cash for it. I mean, I don't think this is a controversial pick, okay? New car prices has skyrocketed on average. I get it. Well, and Americans still love their new cars. And here's the difference. I've never bought a new car in my life. That isn't to say that I haven't bought a luxury vehicle for myself. It just wasn't, well, new, okay? My example is that I like the car for its looks, and it still looked great, even though it was like 5 years old at the time when I bought it. So think about why you want a new car. If it's for reliability, well, I guess that's an okay reason, not a great reason. The reality is that cars are heavily, heavily regulated, and thus they're expected to last decades with proper maintenance. So there's no reason any modern vehicle would be breaking down, even within like 20 years, provided you look for a fine, reliable brand, of course. Used should be as good as new, but you don't have to suffer that massive appreciation. The main issue here is that, of course, most car purchases are not rational decisions but emotional ones, so I'm gonna guess new cars are bought because it feels exciting and empowering in some way. I think that's false, and my only advice here is to tell you that the feeling of getting a new toy will go away in like 3 months at most, but then you're stuck with a way bigger payment for years to come. Because that's how most Americans buy cars, right? With multi-year car payments, right? This is why I make an exception if you have 3x the cash on hand to buy a new car. You can go for it. Why 3x? Because I rarely have that much cash on hand. That's why I can never justify buying a new car, even though I definitely have enough cash to buy one new car. See? Just put a rule in place that you can't fulfill. That's how you prevent purchases of this type. And point number 3, any luxuries are basically wants, but not needs, okay? But maybe I'll use vacations as a specific example. I'm not telling you to cut out all luxuries. I'm telling you to cut out all luxuries that you would need to use credit for. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize this was a thing until, reading the news. I think this affects more like young people who want to live that social media filtered type of life, right? And travel. But as all young people tend to be relatively poor, why not just put it on credit cards? I think this is one of those type of purchases that simply need to be eliminated entirely, right? If anything, you can't afford some type of travel right now, let that feeling be the driving force for you to make more money or learn how to save and invest better. Instead, do not fall prey to the readily available system of credit here, at least in the USA. What's going to happen is that you fall into that trap. Is very clear to me, right? Sure, you can buy now and pay later for something, but the joy of your travel, a luxury, or a fun item will wear off in a month or two, but the payments will last much, multiple times longer, okay? Also, once you have done this trick one time, you very well might try it again and again, and that will quickly snowball into something completely unmanageable. It can't be hard to find an example of this in real life or the internet, right? I know this is true because most people are awful at managing their money and also an incredible amount of credit card debt. Do you want to be like the Joneses in the worst ways? I mean, I hope not, right? So, in conclusion, all of these advice is aimed at one thing: controlling your needs versus wants, right? I put the luxury as a last item knowing that it's not a real need, right? I know, but the reality is that I absolutely recognize that a person cannot live on needs alone. We all like something extra that's just for fun and just for ourselves, rather than what is expected of us from, society as a very basic need, right? My suggestion is to keep those personal luxuries at a smaller scale. We live in an incredibly overindulgent, extremely abundant capitalistic world. There's literally products of all kinds that's available from anywhere on the planet. So surely you can find something that brings you a personal sense of joy that's detached from also having to keep up with whoever your Joneses are, your neighbors are, right? You are an individual and a unique and a special snowflake of a person, aren't you? Not just one of the masses. Cheers. I'll approach it.